beautifully. So go ahead, tell us about, again, what you just said about the gardens and what it
Yeah.
represents.
So it started initially when I lived in Gary, having moved from Chicago. Where do I fit in community? So that was the beginning. And seeing that nothing was accessible, there were activities taking place in Gary, Indiana, in the Miller Beach community that caught my attention. And one of those was community gardens. And they would had what was called the secret garden. And the secret gardens, when I would ask, can I get it? I want to go see the secret gardens, which ones were voted in this year? Well, they were not accessible. So as a wheelchair user, or even as a person who uses canes or walkers, they couldn't get in to see these gardens. They would select about 6 to 10 gardens a year, people's houses and all that. So I got the idea, well, there's such empty spaces here. And then here they just created this beautiful, invested millions of dollars on a park. And again, that park, they got an award and all that, and where I would go, it was not really fully accessible. So here we have a law, the Americans with Disabilities Act, we have universal design. And again, as a wheelchair user, I could not get around. I would go one path and there was no other way, there was no exit, I had to go all the way back, those kind of experiences. So I approached the community and asked about creating a garden. They said, well, we don't have enough volunteers, so we don't have blah, blah, blah. They kept putting it off, first year, the second year. And if you will, as you always say, if you have an idea, you're the best person to start it. So I said, okay, I'll go ahead. And fortunately, the universe worked in my favor. I had gotten an invitation for another community nearby, another town, city, I should say, that was inviting me to attend this ribbon cutting about a water activity. It's like, wow, for the first time, and it was accessible, they're supposed. Well, I asked my husband, Jonathan, I said, let's go. I want to see what this is about. For the first time, I'm reading something that is truly, it's including me. I got there and I was like, okay, this is about accessible to for kayaking. A launch for wheelchair users and people with the physical mobility disabilities. And they had no one there to demo it. So it was all able-bodied people. It's like, so that was the beginning. And so the person that was in charge, they said, I wish we had someone to show, blah, blah, blah. And of course, my husband said, well, ask my wife, she's here. So of course, I just happened to show up and happened to use a wheelchair and happened to need something like this. So that was the beginning. And I asked, can we have one like this? This is the very first. Can we have, we have water, we have this, and we have the land, and can we talk to the city, how much? And so that was again asking the beginning of the story about what happened after that. I said, how much does it cost? Well, they said, we paid it was $100,000 $1,000. I think it was 170 some. I said, well, I guess we can raise that. I think, let's talk to the city of Gary, because what do we have to do? Will you help? The first thing is, will you help me to get this done for the city of Gary? And of course, they said, the board said yes, and the city, can I use you as a model? And that was the beginning. Well, I started looking around, in the city and where in my community, we had the Calumet River, and I had learned the story about the Calumet River with Lake Michigan, and of course, nothing there. And then the garden. And I feel there's land here, this is the park, there's the river, we can incorporate water activities for people. And I said, well, let's talk to the city. The city said, well, I went to government for permission, and they said, well, we have no money. I said, I didn't come to ask you for money. All I need is permission. The rest, I will figure it out. And that was the start. And so we knew that we would have to raise the list over $100,000 based on what the budget they told us before from the other city. But I said, so, okay, we'll figure it out. I'll just start looking for volunteers. And to make the long story short, we were able to do what the other city did for $30,000. So
wow.
Instead of the hundreds of thousands.
Wow.
So that was part of that conversation. It included everything in those. So I included a sidewalk, because one of the things I said, make sure that we always have parking So that is part of a garden. I said, we got to consider accessible parking. If you want to invite people to activities, you got to include accessible parking. So I make sure that the spot had accessible parking. So we created a sidewalk. So make sure it can't go, with just on the grass. Wheelchairs don't just go easily on grass, or to make sure that the boardwalk. And I said, the people that Gary have, what I heard was that they continuously have people, outsiders come in and make so many promises, asking for permission and money, and they never finish projects. So my thought was, no, this time around, we want to get people to immediately see results, not asking and a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, and the thing's still waiting. I said, no, we got to do a project that they immediately see results. Well, within 6 months, we had our boardwalk, and then that was the beginning of our garden. So it's like, and then people got to see and got to believe and got engaged. So, and we started creating activities. We had our very first sunset paddle, again, inviting people with disabilities. And then we incorporated the paddle for the blind. But then we have people, not everybody wants to be on water. Especially like I said, in the blind community, they're fearful, they don't know how to deal with water. So I said, to test it out, we need a garden. We need a place to sit. We need people to enjoy. If someone is accompanying someone, they're not getting into the water, they'll sit and what are they going to do? So that was the beginning. I said, we got a plan to create a garden. And I remember a painting that was from college in the 1800s. And that was the image that I had envisioned, people coming out on a Sunday on a stroll with their umbrellas and their children and their pets and having picnics in I think it's George
Surratt.
Surratt, yes, his painting. And so that image came into my mind as that's how I envisioned this garden to be. People enjoying the water, people enjoying the land, having picnics, the ages, it doesn't matter. People have all activities, all social class, all colors. And that's what the garden has become now. And so now other gardens have been created. And so people, wheelchair users can come. Even was asked permission to use the garden to have a spiritual, not a mass, but they have a service. So some services are taking place right in front of the water as people have a beautiful view of other people kayaking and then people sitting and smelling the flowers. And so the garden now have volunteers. Once I left, make sure that I had volunteers to maintain the garden. And then we even had our first garden walk as a result. So the community included my garden as in the garden, the secret garden. And so we've had a lot of activities. So that's the garden, what a garden should do for a community. It's like to serve, it's not just for certain things, you can plant a tree, you can plant, what is it that you want your garden to do? For me, the garden served, number one, increased trust in the community. It showed that here, it doesn't matter, it starts with one, as Causes for Change says, always starts with one. You can make it happen. You have an imagination, you have a creativity, you have a dream, just do it. And people will come. People, just like the painting, just like people start showing up. In the beginning, even I had included the arts. I got benches of circular art. One of the questions that I had, it was, how can a person with cerebral palsy, many people or who's quadriplegic have issues with the sun, how can we protect them? So I got a circular bench. At first I designed the bench, but it was too costly. So because I wanted to make sure heating underneath for certain people, and I consider all types of issues that people confront. And so, but if you're, the circular bench, what people can do is throw in over a cover, a blanket, so to protect from the sun, and they can still enjoy the view. Then we had other benches. I said, well, someone who has, like myself, who may want to transfer from my wheelchair, I want to make sure I have a bench that has a grab bar, to be able to shift and lift, not always depending on someone else. A boulder, I want to make sure boulders were incorporated into the garden. Someone who may want to sit next to each other, transferring over, and also make sure that it supported what the vision of the community wanted, native plants. So make sure that, the pollinators are taken care of. So it's all about, what is it that I want? questioning themselves, what do I want and what do I need? And I said, that begins the planting of the seed for your own life. Does not depend on someone else to always give me. I didn't want the government to give me, create a garden for me. No, I create the garden for the community. Because there's just me, other people like me, also ask the same question. When can I be included? Where's my garden? What can I do? But they don't know how. But here we did it. And now so other cities did the same. Lake Station now had their own launch and creating their own gardens. The vets, we had Elkhart, we had 2 launches were installed in Elkhart. We had the Indiana Dunes, we had even wheelchairs for the national park as a result for the 61st
Wow.
National Park.
Wow.
So all that was done as a result of this garden. And
Wow.
that was the
And did you do
vision.
any
So
publicity around that? Was it in the news?
we got quite a bit. We did, and still now, and that's why right now it's got this book to begin that needs to be written
Yes.
about create community gardens, the importance of community gardens. Purdue University interviewed me. They did a piece because again they invited me to come and work with their community educators to how to create accessible gardens. It's not just about creating a raised bed. For me, we incorporate raised beds in the garden because as a wheelchair user, you don't want to always just sit in your chair to garden. You want to get on the ground or you want, so, but I transfer to a raised bed if there's enough width there to sit and I can work in the soil on the type of the raised bed. So I created and designed that raised bed. So in the raised beds, when you're passing, if you're not getting out, so people said, let's make it sensory garden. So each raised bed had a theme. Okay, has a fragrance for people who, want this smell. This other one's for vision, to draw vision to the art. Another for taste. So the senses. So the incorporating the senses into the garden. So I had people like herbs. Let's plant some herbs in this raised bed because people can taste, and if they want, they can take some home. So to be able to look at how herbs. So there, the water and all that to make sure that the gardening of the raised beds used, good water to be able to, so people can feel safe in tasting the plants. So that's what's part of the garden. So
I'm so impressed and inspired. I would never have thought of all these things. You're like an horticulture expert now, right?
Yes.
Everything you learn and beyond. So your book is actually to grow gardens, right?
Yes.
It's all about growing
yes.
gardens. So Zully, this is a story unto itself. And I would love, I had to capture all this. I'm thinking as it's recording, well, I could always get a video editor to edit out what you're saying to make it into another, to use it for promotion, because I just want to capture everything now. And I would be happy to help you. And if you needed help, it sounds like you have the book done. If you wanted me to be another set of eyes on editing it, if you want help in promoting it. So I think of every story like a 3-legged stool. So one leg is actually crafting your story. And that's all the thinking that you've done. You've already done it. The second is telling your story. And telling is really like letting people know about it. That is, that's so important because without telling it, it's just hidden away. No one will know about it. And that includes doing videos like this, doing video interviews and video posts. More people that it's proven are watching videos than they're reading. But you can have one enhance the other with the magic of these QR codes. So the QR code can link people to the interview, and the interview can link people back to the book that you would reference it. And then, and you know, one video isn't necessarily everything. It's good to get out as many short posts as possible. And the third is sharing. So creating, telling, and sharing. And sharing is what you did when you got volunteers. Sharing also is on social media, using the full power of different website, different social media sites, and getting it out there. And that way you can raise more. I mean, I'm so impressed.
The book itself, it's a how-to book.
Okay.
I want to make it a how-to book, how to create
I thought you did the book already, or you
No,
haven't.
no, this is what I've been putting together. This is how I've been
Okay, well then
developing.
let's work on that. So I would be happy to apply, we'll work it out, apply the money
That,
that you paid me towards
yeah,
this.
that would
And
be
then
great because
that's
this
what I
is,
want to do. And then so you already paid me money. And then the anthology is still in the background. If I get the funding, what I would
yeah,
ask everyone to do is contribute $100
yeah,
towards it,
yeah,
or
yeah,
just something, because that way they have an investment to be participating,
yeah,
rather than, I mean, because I could certainly then, I would rather that the words come from the people rather than me.
right,
I
right,
could write it, but I would like to that's why I wanted to meet with you, take what
yeah.
you've done, you've paid me, and see how I can help you right now to get your dream out there.
Yeah, that would be good. This book is number one right now. Because like I said, people have been
That's your
asking for it.
priority.
Yeah, people have
Yes,
been asking for it, and I saw there's a market for it.
good. So
And
we can
so,
easily I'll help you with all the, I've self-published two
right,
of my
right.
own books, and so I know what is involved. First,
Let
you
me-
want to have your book
hold
written. Yeah.
hold on. I mean, there's another piece to this too.
Okay, I'm very excited. Do you have
There's
pictures
there's
also?
someone got it in the community, got a grant to do a film to do, it's like an artist film. And so
Great.
they asked me for the book. So I promised them the ebook that they
Okay.
can use. But the other book, I have not promised at
What
all
other
because
book? What
I
other book?
want the other one to be for causes.
Yeah.
So
So just if you're writing an ebook, it doesn't
mhm,
cost much more to have it for. So I've learned this, and there's different formatting involved with an ebook versus a paperback.
right.
And I hired people to do the formatting because it's all technical, but it's not that much. But the point is that if you've already written the ebook, it would make sense for you to publish it as a paperback as well.
Yeah, well, the ebook when I learned is very 1, 2, 3. Just think, I want to work like the skeleton. I don't want to give everything.
I know, but what I'm going to tell you is this. I understand. People get connected to you by the heart, by your story. You just already, and we can transpose this, you already told me a story.
Yeah.
And I would put that story in your how-to book. It's so important. It's the backstory. It's like watching the dress rehearsal of a play.
Okay.
Why did Zully even get involved in doing gardening? Well,
Right.
here's your story that you
Okay.
went to an event and you couldn't, it was supposed to be accessible and it wasn't. And
Right.
then you're talking to the city, and what you did was like a little miracle, that you helped create a garden that was in the newspaper, and you realize that there are plenty of other places that need to have accessible gardens. So that your story needs to be in this book. Would you agree?
Yeah. 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 True.
Because
Yes.
otherwise, what makes that different from any other? Then it's just facts. People don't
Exactly.
care
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
facts.
So in the how-to book, because this is I want other people to do it. So so getting into the mind,
Right.
what makes it accessible, starts with, let's look at the area, also looking at what I looked at the area was more to minimize the cost. What made it the other place so more expensive compared to the site that I chose over here? One project, the ground, they had to do more digging, more construction, more in this being the first. For me, it's like I looked all around. Okay, this space, I love willow trees. Again, going back to the painting, protection. And so for someone who wants to picnic, who needs sun protection, the willow will provide. And there was the only willow tree in the area.
Mhm.
So I want that willow tree to be part of my garden, okay,
Yes.
because it serves. I want to incorporate, okay, so people, again, activities that people may not want. So I hired an artist and purchase that I wanted chess, that having the mind work. So chess tables. So we designed 2 chess tables that will be accessible. So people can play games while others can kayaking. So we had, again, the art just to visit and meditate, a bank that's isolated so people may want to just read and just look over to the water. It's therapeutic. So those things, okay, that's the next thing. So parking, I made sure that we had parking spaces accessible, signage, the sidewalk, curb cuts, art, to incorporate the art, to incorporate, make sure that, like I said, that the visuals or the sensories, that's not people who are blind, who are blind, deaf, how is the layout, for someone who's deaf, can they communicate? That's why the boulders for sitting for two is so important, because if someone is deaf and we want to be able to communicate, give them privacy, but still enjoy the visuals. So all those things I consider in the garden and the design of the garden, and still the cost, and still like how can we incorporate nature. So that's what I want to be able to get people get. So when you decide on a garden, creating a garden, look at what's the purpose, what is it you want? Yes, you're meeting your own needs, whether it's you're creating a vegetable garden or whether you're a community garden or public garden. So what is it? So this particular book, and later on, I want to be able to create other books that within the garden. Number one, a community garden. This is for the community. Then I want to create a book just for school children, because I did work with just how to incorporate gardens in the schools. So that's another book, like getting the children involved in the elementary age in terms of the responsibility of taking care of a plant, create your own raised bed within the school that the children can. So that's another book, but again, children with different disabilities.
Wait, so I have a question.
Sure.
So is the community garden book, that's different than this garden book? The community.
No, this is the garden. This is the one that I'm saying, that the how-to book, that's for the community. So
that is. So one book is the community book, the how to grow a garden, or whatever we want to call it. Or
I just started with how to create an accessible garden.
Creating an accessible garden for right now. But we can work on other titles too. So that, and the second book would be for school children and growing gardens in their school.
Yes. And another one could be just for, let's say, for people in nursing homes, because again, get them active, get them involved, so it's just like they, instead of sitting in their rooms, they complain about their arthritis, they complain about this or that. It's like, hey, if you get them in gardening, they may not be complaining so much, they get beauty, Right. So that's just, so this book could have several things, but just right now, the one that we're waiting is for the community, but it pretty much all have involved the same thing.
So have you started writing it all or no?
Yeah, yes.
Oh yeah. Yes. Did you finish the book? Is that okay? So you need here's my thought. That we work together and you send me what you have.
Okay, yeah, I just been writing all ideas and like the painting and just different things. That's the introduction.
Basically, in putting in a book together, want to have an outline. It's a good way to start, and then maybe you have one already.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I'd like to see it. And then we can just have regular meetings to go over this and make a deadline of when you want. You said everyone's asking, so we need to make, if you're willing to collaborate with me on getting this done, we need to make a deadline. You gave me, I want to tell you why you inspire me so much, Sue. I just have to send you some love. It almost brings tears to my eyes because you're such a visionary. You're so incredibly talented and a visionary that you think big. And I mean, maybe 10 years ago, if someone said, you know how to make gardens grow, I don't know if you would have thought of all these things, but you just go for it, and you inspire me that's what I put in my children's book. When you said, and I made Andrew the one to collect the toys, but when you said I need 1,000 toys, I was thinking, oh my God, 1,000 toys. I'm thinking, how am I ever going to do that? And then I thought, well, I have to try. I can't just say no. And then when I got that first donation of 350 Beanie Babies from 2 girls cleaning out their closets, I thought, wow, because originally I thought in my mind, I'll just see if I could make to 350. Then I thought, well, maybe I could really get to 500. And then they just came, and I got some money to buy more. And before I knew it, I had 1,800. almost double. So I'm getting the goosebumps. I know. So you inspire me because you think big, and what you're talking about is so big because it's really the gardens of life, of helping
Mhm.
us tap into the seeds of life are in a garden. You know, there's a lot of poetry that it could be said.
Yeah.
So this book is not, to me, is not just a how-to book. Yes, it's a
Right.
how-to, but it's with the stories. You know, if I haven't sent this to you, I will send it to you after we speak. I was asked to write a how-to book for children on social justice, how to do their own nonprofit, how to do social justice. And it was part of a series by Capstone Press. So they paid me a flat fee. I think it was $1,750. I think that was what comes to my mind.
Yeah.
But so no royalties. And I said, well, let's do some stories. So I went and did research, and there isn't, I don't think there's any other book like it of children who started their own nonprofits and what they did. So I found through Google, I found a bunch of different kids, and I presented them to the publishing company, and they picked like 5 or 6, and there are profiles of the stories of the kids who started their own nonprofits, and they're still going strong as far as I know. One of them is, so this was done in 2008. So now these kids who were 12, you know, they're young adults now. But this one young man in Canada created a nonprofit, Save the Children,
Oh, yeah, I
because he read
remember.
in the newspaper how another child his age in
Yeah.
I forgot, in Pakistan was a slave. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is your story will make this book special because it's not just a how-to book. It's your
No, no.
story with the
Yeah.
how-to, with the pictures. You've got pictures you could put in there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But I thought it's even with I've been studying a lot about AI. So I thought, okay, we can save money through this illustration just by
You
using
can.
AI.
Well, the thing about AI, you know, and I think that's it could be incorporated. People said that some of that information is taken from other people's writings too. Like you don't want to be,
Oh, no.
what do you
No,
call
that's
it?
ChatGPT. That's ChatGPT. But no, no,
ChatGPT.
no,
Oh, all right. As
no,
long as it's not taken from someone else's writing,
no, no,
that
no, no,
you know,
no. Yeah, yeah.
plagiarizing is the word I
Right.
meant.
No, no, no. That's yeah. I've gone. I did with 2 different companies. I did a ChatGPT training, and I also did the AI.
Okay.
That they incorporated, so they gave me some ideas and all that. And I just I forgot the AI. There are 2 different sites, and I have not gotten a chance to go in to look at that. But you can put your ideas in there. You can even put your own photographs, and then they, with your own photographs, do it the way you want it. For example, let's say if I take the photographs that I have, it they will, you know, using in what is it, I'm putting the right word, what is it I'm looking for, whether I want it
Right.
more brighter, then AI will do it instead of my hiring and waiting, see layers upon layers upon layers. No, this will be much faster. It will be in
Sure.
depth, and I can immediately approve it or not approve, and just incorporate other things, give me more red or give me more blue, you know, kind of thing, and just a wording. And I think that's the route. For example, I was thinking even with my the other book that I, you know, I've shared with you, my Peaches book.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yes.
that Peaches book, I feel it's like, okay, I have an idea. If I put in AI, just like I want more like what's the art, oh God, starts with the W, from the 60s. The can, like Marilyn Monroe. He did,
Like the type of art, is that what you're talking?
yes, yes.
I don't know the type of, I'm not,
He was in the 60s. He did Marilyn Monroe.
you mean the was he W? You're
Yes,
not thinking Moreau, are you? You
no,
think,
no, no,
no,
not,
the guy did
well,
pop art?
yes, yeah, the type of art,
Yeah,
yes.
I forgot his name.
Uh, he's famous, world something,
Oh,
Walter,
Warhol, Andy
Warhol,
Warhol, Andy
yes,
Warhol. Okay.
Warhol, yeah, not just W, somewhere or something.
Well, yeah, I thought it was a type of art, like the W. No,
Yes, that
well, Andy
his that
Warhol.
style kind of thing that's not specific, but it's got sort of like that kind of style for the Peaches book. This is giving some ideas
Oh,
like that.
that's nice.
So I was thinking for the Peaches book. So I've had different like visualizations how I want this book, and I saw
Which one are you talking about? The peaches or the book
the
garden?
peaches, the book, the peaches. Yeah, so that
Yeah.
kind of. So I've had that
Okay.
idea kind of stuff
Sure.
looking for
Sure.
for
Well,
a child.
the thing is, it's good to think, so I love that. So I think what would be best is to focus on getting one done and then the other done. Because just like I was thinking, okay, I can't do an anthology crowdfunding and the adventures in Ecuador at the same time. It's just too confusing,
Right.
And also I wanted your opinion, whether I don't, did I send you the cover that Sergio, I think I did.
I saw it this morning. Because I'm so behind on email, but I saw it this morning.
Actually, that was not, so he did it a couple ways. I have him, I
did.
send this to you, the
Want to share?
byline.
Oh,
What? Yeah,
want to share?
I have to bring it up on the screen. Give me a second, but,
Okay.
yeah,
How you like my logo
wait, let me go back.
on my screen, the Z Life?
The Z, I like it. It's but I don't know, what is the Z Life?
It's just my name. It's just, I wanted my Z.
Oh, it's the Z Life. Now, the only thing is, there's no border. It's all, what's underneath there?
Dreams fulfilled. Dreams fulfilled.
I would like to, so maybe because I wear contact lenses, I'd like to see the dreams fulfilled in a larger font.
Yeah.
It's hidden away, don't you think?
Yeah, just I want to smell it. It feels like, okay, just to start a
Because
conversation.
I couldn't read, I wear my contacts. I
Right.
couldn't, now I see, oh yeah.
Dreams fulfilled.
And
Yeah.
I'm not an artist, but I like the Z. I'm wondering if it had some kind of a border or something around it that would.
Well, it was more, I created more just to begin to,
I like
say, is to begin to create my brand. It was Zully
yes.
Alvarado instead of
It is.
using my name.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I could do. Let me see if I could share screen, because I was going to show you the crowdfunding site, which the one I'm doing on the book that has the picture of the cover. The one I sent you, I had Sergio change the background where it says "buy," so it's more easily read. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, wait! I clicked on the wrong button. Where are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure I have it up. Okay.
The bottom green.
Yeah, let's see if I have to.
Here.
I never. Okay. This is the part that. Okay, 1 second. Yeah. Okay, go back to this. Okay, share screen. Wait a second. This is something else. Oh, this is the other thing I was going to tell you about. Yeah, I was looking at copywriting. So when you do something, you want to copyright it, Zully.
Right.
No one can steal it. And I was doing that even for myself. Here, wait a second. I was pulling. Okay, 1 second.
Yeah, I was wondering if you need an ISB.
Yeah, you want to have it copy. Okay, can you see this?
Yes, I can see it. Yes.
So this is the wrong bottom, because I asked Sergio to send it to me again. So I have him putting the background if where it says "buy," in a light yellow, because right now I think it's too hard to read with the line drawing and the words at the same time. But
would you want his name on the same line as yours? Because his is overpowering compared to yours. You're the author.
Yeah, I wonder. So I want your feedback. The other thing is, I was wondering about a subheading here, a kid's volunteering diary or something. Or do you think that's too many words? Yeah, I could have them change that. So I'll send you via email. The other one has us both. It could be my name on top. Let me look for a second. Something here. You're right, Zully. On my other children's book.
Yes.
So my name's on top and his is underneath, written by and then illustrated by.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll have him change it again. But anyway, so this is what I've done so far. And before I launch this, I would like you to see it, because it's really talking about talking about the why, and this is an idea too for you. You know, why do you need this book? Why do you need the gardening book? So in my opening here, I'm talking about the reason children need to hear positive stories. And I learned a lot of this from Blue Ribbons Worldwide, that actually, did you know that suicide is the second leading cause of death among kids right now? And of course, there's a major increase in depression and violence.
Oh, gosh,
And I think a lot of that has to do with negative media, that we don't have enough positive stories. And so then I talk about this. So I'll send you, and I put in some pictures. There's Andrew with the kids brushing teeth. And then there's this one with the flashlight and Joel doing, and then I want to have something with you in there. You can send me, I'll stop the share. Because you have more, with you. I have one with you, but it's small at the orphanage. So in any event, I'll send you the newer cover. I'll ask Sergio if he wouldn't mind putting his name under. That's good. And I think what we need to do, I appreciate being able to collaborate with you on your book and work out. I would like to first find out, when would you like to see this published? Your garden. Let's put the peaches to the side for right now, okay?
Yeah.
And so the money you invested will be put to good use for, helping you writing this book. And I can serve as a writing / editor, because that's what I did for another book that was a bestseller by this woman, Natalie McQueen. And so she would write, and then I would go over her writing. You could certainly use AI as well, but it's good.
No, because like I said, I want to be just again, no, when I was saying that, looking at, because I said, what would be the best approach? No, I was just wanted to learn to be able to, what is the conversation, everything about kind of stuff. No.
Yeah, I would like to help you in shaping this and having you tell your story. And I recorded this so I can send you the recording if you want. You can use any part of it, because it's all in your head. But ideally, if we were to look, just like you told me, get 1,000 toys. So let's look in the distance. When do you want to have the deadline be?
I really want, let's say right now is the time.
Okay, so how soon?
Should have been done yesterday already.
Okay, well, yesterday's good.
That's what I'm saying. So, should have done, because right now, looking at the garden season.
It's right now. You want to get like ASAP.
Right. So that's how I'm looking at it. Like say, even April showers bring May flowers. Okay.
So you want to get it out within the month.
Right, the end of May, June.
Okay, fine.
That's the beginning of gardening. People start digging. It's like, okay,
right.
So this will start the time they will be looking, and so
can
even
you send me the script? Can you send it to me today?
Yes, I will do that. So I was thinking, it's like, even if it's not, just get the virtual side done. And then we can begin to look at creating that
virtual book.
We said, who wants to start selling the hard copy?
But okay, so this is the thing. Once the virtual that's still, you did all the work. You did all the writing. So it's not that big of a deal to have it formatted into paperback. But the difference is, I believe, because so I don't think you need a cover, but it's not such a big deal. So with an ebook, you don't necessarily need a cover, but for a paperback, of course, you need to have a cover.
Right.
And you want to have some visual element on the cover. And you may want to use some photo that you have already taken. Like in the story of here, I'll give you another example. So I did pay. I mean, I'm not an illustrator, but in Roland's story, I took this picture of Roland and his wife on a trip to California. I could take off a trip to California, and then I found a graphic artist. I tried a couple different people, and actually I think I did this with Fiverr. Are you familiar with Fiverr?
Yes.
The only drawback about Fiverr is you can't speak to the people on the phone.
Problem.
And it is but I know other people to talk to. So what we did is we blurred out the background to make it look like a rehab, because it wasn't. So he wrote his, did you ever read this book?
No. No.
Do you know about Roland's story? You know,
Roland? No, no, no.
Roland.
Roland?
Okay,
No.
I will send this to you also. So
Roland?
Roland was one of my dearest friends who found me after I interviewed a disabled speaker online. He was in a wheel, he was a very good speaker, and Roland found me. He was in a wheelchair after 3 strokes. He was totally
Oh,
paralyzed
that's
on his
true.
right side.
Okay.
Did you never met Roland?
No, I don't think, no, no, I believe not. I
Oh,
think
so
you
he
mentioned
passed
it.
away in 2018. But
Yeah,
anyway, he offered to volunteer to be my wingman for my video interviews.
okay,
And so he did all the tech stuff for me, and he sent me his manuscript,
okay.
and and I kept it in my computer. And I never thought to say, hey, do you need help publishing? I just didn't think it. I thought, well, if he wants to publish the story, he'll publish the story.
Yeah,
But
right, right,
as you know, there are some things you need to know to publish a
right.
story. So, and you want to have an editor, because I've read some people's books, there's mistakes.
I
So
know.
so when he suddenly passed away from a 4th stroke on Jordan's birthday, August 23rd, 2018. And I had the manuscript in my computer, and I thought, I have to publish this story. I have to. I mean, he's my friend. I mean, of course. So I did crowdfunding, and I raised the money to publish, and I paid someone to format the book. Formatting is how it's laid out on the page,
Right,
and the spacing and the font. And it wasn't that much, but I mean, I raised around $2,700. And I got people to write testimonials ahead of time so that we included it on the book. So these are things that we can talk about to get testimonials that you put in the book. And
right.
then I paid some money. I got different people to do the cover. So those are costs, and then we launched the book, and we launched it. I didn't do so there's a way to launch a book to make it into a bestseller.
Right.
And you do need to have a little time for that. Maybe you don't have but that's like this one woman is going to charge me $6,800. The other one's 75. You don't have to do, but I did actually for this book, I paid a woman, the children's book, and she gave me a very good price. It was like, I think it was like $350 or something, but it's a matter of constantly posting information on social media and doing
Yeah.
video and using the right kind of tags, keywords,
Right.
to get people who are searching. And then and so we let people know ahead of time, and you're in
Right.
circles, that you're going to launch this book, and you want to have them buy it at the 99-cent price. And you get enough people together, and we could, and if you wanted to, I would consult with someone to have help, because one person can only do so much. But
Right.
I'm wondering if May happens to be anything with Disabilities Month. See if you can tie
Absolutely.
your
I know
book.
that June we do, because of the ADA, the anniversary of the ADA. We have quite a number of different things that June or July is the
But
anniversary
I'm
of the
just saying, so I mean, the thing is, you want this in May, but if you can tie in your book launch with an event, like I was able to tie it in with a nonprofit event and the environment, it was
Yeah.
over Christmas time. So it was the, Black, what do they call Black
Yeah.
Friday or something. So we got this to bestseller status, and then Amazon will send you a badge that says bestseller. And then if you want, you can reprint the cover, which I didn't do, to include the bestseller label on top of your cover.
Yeah. But there are a variety of things I also, wanted to create. Once we have the idea, I want to start. Now I have a software to do the funnel. So I can begin to collect
Which software are you using?
sales. I got a membership to Sales Process.
Okay, I don't know that one, but it's
I'll
good.
send you the Sales
Yeah,
Process.
because I'm exploring different things myself,
I'll send you the link with that. We can use that Sales Process. They're excellent. The guy is fantastic. I went through his training. It is now me be able to get more time to do that. But yeah,
but
that's
it's
the
important
issue.
to know these.
But he has, it's just fantastic. He really does great, great work. So I thought, well, okay, now I know about funnels and I can do these and there's help, there's staff to help you. There's training, their videos, all of that to be
Right.
able to
Well,
do
then,
that.
as you know, it's sales funnel, you want to lead them to some other things.
Exactly,
That's
exactly.
a whole
So
other thing.
that's why I thought, okay, do the ebook and then how to get them to the little bit more expensive book, the hardcover or soft paper book.
Well,
So
I would think if you're going to all the trouble of creating the book, it's not that much more to just have it reformatted into paperback and hardcover. You don't have to wait a lot of time. It's just a matter of how to reformat the book into paperback and hardcover.
right. So all of that, but then
You could launch it all, if you want, you could launch it all at the same time, or you could launch the ebook first. I'm just saying that
ebook first.
you
I
already
want
have
to
it.
do the ebook first.
Yeah,
Then
okay.
the other can be the other one could be for July. But I really want, because like I said, this is the time for gardening and this is time for the university. This is summer, in the Midwest. I'm thinking more of the Midwest.
Right, so it doesn't have to be the bestseller as an ebook. That's what you're
No,
saying. You could wait
right,
until the other comes out because you would need some time. Usually they
right.
say you need at least 3 weeks for preparation for a bestseller campaign launch.
Yeah. For me, it's like I also have opportunity. I have a 2 o'clock right now at 1:30.
Okay,
But someone,
okay, yeah, it's
yeah,
okay.
I have a 1:30 that with there it's a marketplace. It's a marketplace that is they're setting up, and I can send you the link as well. It's going to be fantastic. They're looking for different sellers, different stores. And I thought, well, a bookstore, you can sell your book there as well.
Of course.
So we can create, because they're looking for vendors to
Where is
sell
this?
stores. And their vision is to offer people what Amazon doesn't. And that is for vendors to get more compensation, more for their work. Also affiliates, the affiliate membership, as well as for nonprofits.
Wonderful. So what is the name? Is this virtual, Zully, or live?
Yeah, it's all virtual. It's going to be all online right now. It's called NetCube. I'll send you the link.
And when is it?
It's already starting. They've been in existence for 4 years, but they're really going. Now is like the time. They've done all the work, blah, blah, blah. So it's like they're sort of like the start where Amazon was started, but they have a big vision, a huge, huge vision. And so they approached me because of causes. Again, they thought that as my nonprofit, I could generate revenue for my nonprofit.
Right.
Even though I have Amazon, I get, that's through the Smile. I get people to sign up for the Smile. I go, rarely I get $5.
I know, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
So that's why this approach, I feel, is like, okay, that's what my 1:30 is about. I have at 2 o'clock already with a potential vendor. And so I feel it's like, okay, I want to look for stores that they could be part of this marketplace. I will send you the link and you can take a look at
so you know what, I think what I'd like to do, I mean, it sounds like your book, I don't know, it's not going to be a thick book. It's not going to be many pages, but it's going to be your story with the how-tos, I'm envisioning, we need to map out a schedule, but let's make a deadline. Well, at least you can always change it, but if you want to have a deadline, make a deadline date and send me your contact, your information.
Yeah, I'll definitely send the content.
And I think that I could just apply what you've already paid me towards creating the book. Now, if there's stuff, except as I told you, I'm not a graphic artist. There would have to be some extra fee that would be paid to someone to format the book, unless you want to do that yourself, or someone, just to lay it out. Because I don't do that. I go to other people to do that, and I have resources, but so I would help you in getting your story written and created, and then there is you want to have a cover and have it laid out, and you need an ISBN number, which is not that costly, but I will help give you some guidance. It's I bought like a block of 10. I forgot.
ISBN? Oh,
Yeah.
really?
So that way, so you can buy a block, maybe that would be better. So that way you can use it for your other books.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, that
Because
would be
see your
good.
hardcover, just so I'm giving you, this is marketing consulting I'm giving you now. So the paperback is a different ISBN than the hardcover because it's going to be a different price.
Mhm.
In ebook, you don't need the ISBN. You just
Right.
set a price. So you could change. What's nice about ebooks, you could start at 99 cents and then you just change the price to $4.99.
Well, that's what I was thinking. That's why I thought just to get something going. That's why I thought
Right.
so just get minimal pages, the limited number of pages, just to begin to get it out there.
I know.
And then we'll do the higher price ticket items and look what's coming. We'll start collecting more names that will lead us to other stuff too, And I was thinking like, okay, we could do a variety of things that can happen as a result. That's why I was thinking, I was like,
Right.
okay, I just want to keep it, like I said,
Well, does that,
get it out there.
yes, so does this make you feel good about now that you pay the money that it's going to go to a good cause?
Yeah, because I really want to get this. And I said, I've been holding on to this, my
Yeah.
sketches, my skeleton. I have the vision. And for me, what helps, and I'm glad you're recording because this helps me because I feel it's like, okay, I can see it. I know what I'm talking about. I know what to want to say, but it's just the writing again is the issue. How
Right. But see, so this is what's so beautiful about video is that you can speak it and then you can have it transcribed. There's a certain system that'll do that too, so that you're speaking your book into existence.
Okay,
So what I want to recommend is that if you want it by the end of May, and it's almost May, that we need to meet at least once a week. But you need to send me your information of the book that you so far, whatever you've written, and any content. And so then the next week we can, or sooner, whatever, you could even write during the week, think about how you want to organize your flow of the
take a look at it, and then like I said, not everything from what I send has to be in. That's why I was like thinking about 2 books at the same time. That's why it's like, okay, it's just all over the place. But so that's
let's get your first book. Let's get the first book written, and then the others could be coming attractions. And what I would like you to consider this, I'm going to give you another tip, is you may want to have a preface written by someone who, like from Gary, who knows the benefit. This is coming from a higher source, Zully. You want to have someone share the benefit of what your gardens meant to the community from someone else, because it's always important to have someone else say great things about you, in addition to you saying great things about what you did,
Okay.
It's more meaningful, and you want to have someone who has could have some prominence, because that will attract more people to buy your book.
Yeah.
So if it's like the mayor of Gary, like my father had
what politics.
well, I don't know. I'm just somebody who might have a name, a following. Like, you met a lot of people in Gary who had some, it doesn't have to be, but who has a following. So then they're honored to be in your book as a preface of, ask them if they would be willing to write about what that meant. That's just one, because we're talking about gardens.
Yeah. I'll think about that one. I'll think about it because it's
or maybe somebody from the disability field who would recognize the power of gardens, and they would be writing the preface to your book.
Okay.
A lot of people, leaders in the American disability community.
Yeah, let me give some thought, how, who, what kind of thing, even within the education.
Does it give you it'll add some juiciness to your book.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, okay. I'll work on that one.
All right, and then you'll let me know. We can work out a day of the week if you want to meet on a Friday, whatever. We'll work out a day that
around this time, like today was except 12, because my 12 o'clock was canceled today. So that's why I was able to meet, but we can do it right after.
So let me, I have a physical therapy session usually on Fridays, which I canceled this week because of my back surgery. So I just have to see when my time is with them.
Yeah, do that because usually Mondays are good for me too. I will go ahead and do
Fridays are usually fine. It just has to be, I just make sure it doesn't conflict. you can let me know, when you email me, let me know some good times for you.
Okay.
We
Thanks
got a
a
lot
lot.
accomplished, didn't you? Didn't you think we got a lot accomplished today?
Yeah, we did. No, everything's gonna work out, because like Peter said, I know I can't do it all. I want these books done. I figure it's like I'm working as hard as I can to.
I know, you can only do so much. And I love working with you.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, and also you could join for free Hugh Ballou Vision community, because I don't know if you're still part of that or not, but you can, it's really great, helpful masterminding with other
Yeah,
nonprofits.
I've been missing him, but like I said, I just the monthly and all that kind of stuff, I just can't do it right now. It's just so tight.
Yeah,
Not
but you can
because
still post if you are you could still post what you're doing so people will find out about it. It's centervisioncommunity.org. I don't know if you know about that. Anyone can do that. You can join free. If you're, I don't know if you're still paying them or not, but you.
No, not anymore. I stopped after, yeah, I
Okay,
stopped
but
paying.
you can still join this for free. Okay, Centervision Community. That way you can get
Okay,
information. I'm in there.
okay,
Centervisioncommunity.org.
okay, yeah, I will get.
So, all right, well then, you'll let me know your availability and I'll be happy to be your collaborator, your editor. Maybe
Okay,
would you allow me to have byline as or in there as your editor?
sure, yeah, no, definitely.
I'd love
Definitely.
to have a credit. That would be
Yeah,
nice.
no,
You
we
know,
will work on that, because like I talked to Jonathan, because I really wanted to be involved in my other ones too, and so hopefully we
yeah,
can make
it's in,
this happen a lot faster than I've been crawling.
yeah, no, that's because there's a copyright page that you'll put in the book and you could put, editing in there.
Yeah, okay, great.
Um,
Yeah, no,
All
definitely.
right,
And then
good.
I
Well,
definitely,
you're gonna move now forward. You're gonna have a
yeah,
positive direction. Thank you,
yeah,
Sue.
this is the year. Gotta do it.
This
Okay.
is the year. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording. All right, so I